Okay, so overall, I'm going to get a kind of an action like this. His hip is way out wide, and then I'm going to have his other foot back here. So this is going to be, his shoulders are up like this, and this is wide. And his foot is outside, the back of his foot is outside of his hip, so it's out here. So I'm going to get this first this directional shift, and then I'm going to look at alignment. I'm going to see this is going to be coming somewhere right up in here. Okay, and so from there, so if I get his shoulders down in here, I'm going to get his hat and his shape up here, like this. And again, I'm going to get his eye line in here, because his eye line is going to be right looking at his hip here, pulling off the top of here. And from his shoulder, okay, so that's pretty much, I got the eye line to there, to the knife coming down in here on his belt, and then his other hand swirling up this way. I mean, it really kind of creates this shape that's going to do something like this, because this comes on the inside here, and this hangs down here. So this is my basic shape and kind of the rhythm of what's happening in here. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to look at what are the shapes that are moving me across his figure, and that are the clothing and stuff, but moving across the figure. Now this, I'm going to come out wide because it goes behind, creates a little shape there, and then from there comes in. But look at this wrapping around up here like this, from outside to in. And then from the top here, it's tucked in here, but there's another fold out here that comes up behind these. Okay? So as these come out and in, it's followed by this at the bottom. Okay? And there's the bottom of his cuff. And then these come out and then at an angle like this. So I'm coming out here, down like this, and down like this. I'm just going to follow these things and get them to work with one another, as these distinctive shapes. Okay? From here, I'm going to go back up, because I want to get back up in here. I want to bring your eye back up in here. So I'm seeing this, pulling from there, his shirt. Pulling like that, pulling like this, because his shoulder's up, so it's going to be pulling like this. Okay. Out the side there. There we go. Okay, So you can see once I get kind of the directional rhythm, then I'm going to look to see where the folds are pulling from those areas. So it's really going to be about the costume, but actually what he's doing in that costume that's going to create those shapes and those folds that land in certain places. And you want to look for if there's folds in his sleeves, let's just say his upper sleeves. If there's folds in his sleeves, they're serving a purpose for something, and we need to see what purpose do they serve in this overall drawing. What do they mean? Okay, in your overall drawing. So might be where his hat is, but his hair goes outside the hat silhouette. Okay. I'll draw this kind of this. Reading is here. And pulling down from here comes pretty much down to here. It goes up here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see that this comes over and down like that. That's a nice long angle there. So I'm going to look for that, and I'm going to see that this kind of counters this, wraps around and comes down like that. So I'm looking for, all the way through here, I'm looking for things that are going to, not just try to see what the folds are doing, but what I'm going to do is I'm looking at them in context to the shapes around them, okay? What's leading around them, and what can I lead them into? For instance, the fold on the sleeve here and on the cuff on his shirt, I can go from here and draw maybe the stripes that we're going to echo. They're going to echo this. They're going to kind of splay down and bring you around in here, right? And then down like this. Maybe what's going to happen here is if I want to bring you up into this area, maybe I'm going to be taking advantage of some of these shapes that are going to be going up here like this. Okay. Pulling that way. I have his chest up like this, so I'm gonna have his shirt up there like that. And if he's up like that, then maybe, I don't remember what this was, but I think it was, if I have it up a little high, it's going to pull from up here. So if I go up here like this, I can pull it from his shoulder because this shoulder is higher. So I'm gonna go in here like this. I'm gonna make sure this is a little. I don't want to do the same thing. You don't want to do the same thing. You want to make sure that you're going and gathering, or that you're making sure that there's some kind of a directional force that you're really pushing with. So if this is pulling up, if he's pulling up from there, maybe I'm going to get some folds coming out of this, and maybe this is going to be. Okay. This is going to, by pulling this up higher, it's going to feel like his shoulders are pushed up higher. And then this coming down a little bit lower. You see I went down here and up here. And then this one being a little lower, we can afford to come in here just a little bit like this. You see, so this is different than this. I want to make sure that that's going to be different in there. I can even make this out like this and then pull straight in here. I'm going to have it come in this way just a little bit and then out because his elbow's tucked in here. Now, if the lower part of his cuff is like this, then the upper part's going to be like this. Okay. And I can push the angle up there again. You see, I'm pushing it up a little bit high like this. So I'm going to keep directing your eye up, making this kind of push down out here. Something like that. So all of these, the shapes I'm creating in these folds are all, I'm trying to make them as dynamic as I can. Where this might pull from up here, I'm going to pull across here because that's where his hip is coming out here. From behind this sash. Okay. Okay. So along down here, I'm going to favor this across the center because I'm pulling up here, reinforce that, pulling up here. And the other side is going like this, straight up like this. So this gets a little more relaxed in here, but yet it still pulls around him this way. That makes sense. So I'm getting the force around him that way, where this is pulling up this way, and this is coming back behind over here. By having this come around out here and this out here, it pretty much says that his chest underneath is pushing out from up here. If that makes sense. It allows our shapes and the folds to feel more volumetric, and they will feel more volumetric if you make them really wrap around those forms, but also have them move in a direction. Look for alignments in those things.